Welcome to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr, and to those that might find themselves here for the first time, you might want to start at the beginning of this playlist. You might want to head over to the Darkness series and get a little bit more of a scope as to why I find myself channeling Aleister Crowley at this time. We do have some lighter material with regards to meditations, and we do have some channelings from the Galactic Federation of Light, now called the Galactic Alliance, with us. My fellow Pleiadian Star sister Anna Maria has a Getting Started series where she's channeling the Pleiadian High Council, now moved over to the Beyond Basic series, which is just, I guess, an upgrade in terms of energy, in terms of understandings, and those that might be, not at the beginning of their journey, but wanting to revamp some aspects that we learn from the start. That's at least what's been coming through so far. But today, apologies everyone to those that are in real time. We do have a split message because I did start to channel with Aleister yesterday and the energy just didn't feel right. I had to give my energy elsewhere, and apologies today. I feel quite fatigued. I have been given some information that I have come off the battlefield somewhere, and that fractal of myself is now needed with this version of me, so they're aligning my energies with that other version of me, but that means I've taken on their fatigue. So apologies, bear with me today. This is, I don't even know what number this is of me trying to get through this video. But I am going to go ahead and start reading the channelings from Aleister, and yeah, I have a lot to share actually today, everyone. But yesterday's message that I started to channel was titled, Hello Dear, and he started with, I feel so at home already. Thank you all for being so welcoming. I was not sure how this would all play out. I already feel marginally more welcome than I ever have in my entire life. That is, of those by the light, so to speak. I shall try and follow on from where we finished off, like red to a bull. Oh, I had a temper, but the quiet kinds, the sneaky and the malicious type. I would play the long game too, cut you down when you least expect it. I played to win. I wanted to be the one. I do not wish to share that I'm proud of what I achieved, because I'm not on so many levels. However, there is a part of me that is still in awe of the magnitude of all that has come to be now. I didn't think energies like this possible. I thought I knew it all. I truly didn't. As I have stated, I have confessed, and you can read it all for yourself. However, I wish to share that only a small fraction of that came from my own soul. There is so much of my work, my musings, that did not come from me or a source that should have ever been credited worthy. I was riddled with many beings taking over and over, trying to steer my path, my way, and they succeeded. I see them now, living in so many, those that read my supposed teachings, my works, none of it inherently mine. When you decide to take on a path of exploration into the other without fully knowing what you are opening, that is when life can become very complicated, oh so very quickly. I think to many I seemed dissatisfied or obstinate. I was in fact full of rage and consumed by a force much stronger than I could have imagined. I was hell-bent on finding the keys to unlock the universe, but why? Because I was shown all that was in existence. I was shown all that was possible in a blink of an eye. Yet I was not aware exactly what I was being given. I was mapping the blueprints for all that you see today, the destruction, the heartbreak, the pain, the torture. It's all coming from the same pathways, those that you know all too well. I wish I could say that I knew exactly when things shifted, when I wasn't me anymore, but the fact is you cannot differentiate yourself from beings of darkness, the ones that are of true power. They are master manipulators, and they will lean in only a smidge to stir you in the desired intentions. I can see where I was starting to become a tyrant to many. I was never stuck on one plan, never made a clear pathway. I would jump ship, I would course correct often, and no one liked that. And then this is from today's channeling, which I've just said as part 2. Alice's energy was interesting today, and I'll speak a little bit more about this after, but he started with, today I'm frustrated. I think I want to rush ahead, but I know that things may not take shape unless I start slow. I began to ask questions at the university. I was seeking out spaces to get a foot in, or at least buy someone a drink to speak to me of all that they knew. As I've mentioned, I was wickedly impossible, and that went in my favour. I made sure that I would undercut anything I heard of those circles. I started to hear small bits of information, and to me it just didn't seem to be enough. No one was making any real progress, and I thought there has to be a better way. I myself, as many of you know from the start, I wasn't able to connect to anything. I would hear a smidge of something here or there, but nothing of note and power. I think this is where the darkness really started to sink in. It already had me with my wounds from childhood so deep, and my ideas of life so fragile. I was ready to take on anything other than this, that which I had already been experiencing. I wanted to experience more, and I started to look at the darkest things I could. I think it was so simple. My mind was focused on the light for such a time. I became curious, and I was curious by nature, promiscuous by nature, or at least I taught myself to be that way. From my heart space, I was a fraud. Because in my heart, I loved deeply, and I was learning what it meant to love on levels beyond comprehension. But I will leave you here for today. I will delve into my love life next time. I think that an important exploration to make note of. And I say that Alistair came through with an interesting energy because I think I started to feel some heartbreak from him, which I already know about. I heard about this in a podcast that I was listening to about him, and I'm very intrigued as to what he will share and bring forward, and how that's going to pan out given what I already know this side. But yesterday when I was speaking with Alistair, it became very clear to me just, exactly how wound and bound to something else he was that he just had no idea of. And I've been thinking back to myself and my own path, and a time when I was in Catholic school, and there was only so much room to go with regards to religion in the early 90s, then. And what I was feeling inside of me, and I was very much a soul of exploration, and I guess promiscuity to a degree, or at least I had all of the urgings of a teenage person at that time, and there wasn't room for that in the Catholic way of living. So I think it was an easy shift just to look to the darker aspects and find that to be something that is fun, or what would consider to be sinful at that time as the things that I wanted to be partaking in, drinking and kissing boys and girls at that stage. So I can see how this just switches, and how it just switched within me. And it's no secret here that I said that I pledge allegiance to Lucifer at some point in my life, more than a few times, and that did come from a space of pain. I was suffering at that time, and I think we all get to that part in our journey where we think, if there is a God, why am I suffering right now? And I think at a young age you kind of can't understand or grasp the magnitude of everything that you are in. So I almost see where perhaps a lot of expansive souls have pledged allegiance to this somewhere in their journey, because it just seems the natural next step in so many ways. So I've come to the understanding that there's going to be actually a lot of quite expansive souls that might have said yes to something that they didn't necessarily know what they were saying yes to, myself being one of those beings, and that is part of the path for a lot of souls, I think, where we find ourselves right now. And I've been delving into a lot of other understandings with regard to the music industry and this cycle of perpetual darkness that they are portraying, and all of the ritualistic abuse that's going on behind the scenes with so many, and the grand scope of where we find ourselves and the people that are in power at the moment is mind-boggling to me. I still can't quite wrap my head around where we find ourselves right now, and the spiritual warfare that is happening on so many levels has been incredibly shocking to me, and I think that Alistair and myself have got into a space where we realised there was just so much to bring forward, and yes, it does feel quite overwhelming, to be honest with you, in some spaces. And I think we're going to have to really work together as to how exactly to bring all of this forward, because I think there is going to need to be a lot of information brought forward. And last night, I can't remember what time of night this would have been, but last night I was told to just sit. And this was after actually having to do quite a lot of shadow work, and I was tricked into doing just some shadow work. I went to a workshop and actually ended up being like a group shadow work type scenario, which I wasn't expecting, and yes, I wasn't best pleased with, to be honest with you. But then I understood why I was there, and I got myself into a new layer of expanse within myself, and really seeing myself for who I am right now in the midst of all of this darkness, and you know, the things that I've been facing on this journey, and the things that I will continue to face, you know, bringing this information forward, and what that means for me at a soul's level right now, and what that means for me, my path and my journey, and you know, perhaps which direction I want to take, you know, going from here. So there was a lot of expanse, and you know, the teams came forward with this idea of going into my Akashic records and looking for information that I might have missed. So that is just something that might help some of you right now in your journey. I'm not sure why this is coming through here, but I'm guessing that there's going to be, you know, a connection with that with so many. And also I was taken to a space where I was seeing demons, and I have been having some, you know, little snippets of beings coming in, you know, trying to have their 2 cents, and just trying to stare me off, you know, what I'm doing throughout the day, and which, you know, I'm more than capable of handling at this time. But I was put in, you know, a space of where I guess it would be like seeing through, is it perspex that is clear? I'm not sure which one it is. Like I was in a container, you know, like a veil, clear veil around me, but I could just see all of these dark beings, all of these demons. And I thought, I know every single one of you. I knew their faces. And you know, it was interesting to me to understand and to lock eyes with energies that I know was aligned with mine at a certain point. And now I understand why I've been guided towards demonology, and to understand that I've gone completely cold. So that's when I'm onto a win-win with that. And I think there is only so many demons right now that are kind of ruling a lot of things, everyone. So I'm looking forward to delving into that a little bit more, and I did mention this in some of the darkness videos. So there is an overlapping that is happening with these messages right now. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to bring all of it together, whether I'm going to keep the darkness separate or bring Alistair into that space. I haven't decided yet. We haven't had much time to talk together about that yet. But I think that I'm coming to a space of really, really, really having to delve into this darkness, and, you know, finding its origins and where it has come from, and where we find ourselves right now in our fragmented existence, and what we are battling with in this timeline. And, you know, I'm in multiple timelines at the same time. We all are. But there is a fractal of energy that is connecting with, you know, Alistair's energy, and these ritualistic I don't even know what to call it at this time, understandings, it is one, well, not just one timeline, but there is a chunk of timelines that are all connected to this, and that is what we are working with regards to Alistair's energies. And then there is a galactic aspect that comes into all of this as well, and I'm still looking into Scientology, and finding some real incredible information in that, and just how, I guess, forward thinking it is, and phenomenal to me that people have said yes to Scientology when, you know, there is no talk of extraterrestrials elsewhere, of, you know, I guess such a positive nature and a way of helping others at a basic level. I thought actually there was some understanding there that is an overlap, and I will do a longer video with the darkness series with regards to all of that. But we are coming to the point where everything is starting to make sense, or at least to me, and I'm trying to make it make sense to all of you as well. I'm not sure how Alistair is going to be through all of this, everyone. I think I hadn't anticipated just how fragile he is right now. I think that is something that I wasn't expecting from his energy, and I think this is going to be a lot for him as well, everyone. So I think there might be a bit of back and forth with this, and I think we might have to bear with him. Like I said, I could feel this heartbreak sort of coming up today, and I thought, oh, that's incredibly interesting. And at this point, I do care about him. He is a fractal of me. I care about myself. I care about him, and I think that it's going to be difficult for him to bring forward everything that he has done, being in his full capacity of his heart right now, everyone. And yeah, I think that's just something to note, something to be aware of. And I think actually something to be aware of those that might be in a situation with those that, might have been in the grips of darkness at one time, and they're making that switch, and, where they might be struggling in their path of accepting the things that they might have done, and, the things that they need to perhaps rectify, or at least admit to self or to others, and how incredibly difficult that might be for some at this time. So please be mindful of those around you at this time, those that, are in conversations with those that perhaps might have been in the grips of this darkness, and what that might mean moving forward in a healing journey, and how you can make that be a safer place as possible. Something else to bring forward is that at the beginning of, I think a few videos ago, I started to say I was waking up at 6:06 on the clock and seeing 6:06 on the clock, and in my personal Instagram, my numbers were 666 of followers for a real long time, and I thought, I don't know why that's happening. This was all just to make me aware of that, Alistair Crow was coming in, and I've been given the message that if you have been seeing 6 and 6 and 6 quite frequently in the past few weeks, few months, do reach out to us. Alistair has been sending you signals to say that he would like to connect with you and speak with you about a situation that you might be in your life. And, I will vet the emails that come through with regards to that, everyone. And apologies, we do not like to turn anyone away, but I think we have to be incredibly careful with inviting those in that might have be involved with darkness at this time, and I will try and help as many people as I can, or send you off to spaces that will be able to help you if I can't. But I will be given the go ahead on the people that he has been reaching out to. So if he hasn't been reaching out to you personally, unfortunately you will not get to speak with him, but that is just where we find ourselves right now. And I will do my best to help as many as I can. All of us Light Renegades will. We will not just turn anyone away, but there are specific people at this time that he has been reaching out to that he would like to converse with regards to certain things that have been happening in your life. So just to be aware of that too, everyone. And I'm going to share something else, and this is something that I've only just made a solid connection with. And there was a time when I'd come face to face with someone that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and it was like their face was morphing in front of my eyes. This was with my plain two eyes. It was like I could see that they wasn't sure how to engage with my energy, and I could see every emotion coming across their face, and like it was like just like a melding of face. And I think I was in such shock at the time, I wasn't able to fully grasp it, and I think I wasn't in this place in my journey to fully understand what that was. And in my recent understandings, I'm being told, I was looking at the faces of demons that was attached to this person. And it absolutely breaks my heart to think, how riddled with beings we are when we open ourselves up to a space of that we just don't know what we are doing, and I've been given the understanding of just how many beings were on my shoulders, in my point of life when I had, agreed alliance to Lucifer at one time and agreed to let this darkness in. Granted, that was my path, and, I had to go through all of this, and I've had to understand those energies so that I can be on the other side of it and help others through that. But it was incredibly scary and harrowing and heartbreaking all at the same time to understand that, and to know that there is so many suffering at this time in that way, and they just have no idea, that the spiritual warfare is real, that all of this is real, and that is how those higher ups would like it to stay, because they don't want us to be set free. And there is a whole other storyline attached to that with the reptilian order as well, everyone, which I won't go into today. But that is the messages from Alistair from Crow today, and I will be back tomorrow with him. But like I said, I'm not sure, everyone. I felt like there was going to be, you know, such a rush and such a positive spin with him. Yesterday, I thought like it was my energies that was perhaps feeling a bit fragmented, and I think it might have been I was having to do deep shadow work. And yeah, there's been a lot, you know, I'm trying to make sense in my own life and in my own journey at this time. But I think it was him. I think it was him realizing he's going to have to share some pretty sensitive things, and you know, he's not proud of those things. And yeah, there's been a lot of pain in his life too, and you know, the after fact as well, that he will get into. He said that he will share everything that, you know, he experienced as much as he can after he passed as well, which is just incredible information, everyone, and I couldn't be more grateful. But go well, everyone. Please bathe yourself in divine white light, Christ's white light. And something I heard yesterday when dealing with demons is to say, you know, the blood of Christ, you know, dispose you. I have the blood of Christ. My body has the blood of Christ, and you know, somewhere that is to be true, everyone. And actually, I've completely forgotten to share this because it's been taken from my memory. This is the thing that I wanted to bring forward. But today I spoke with Jesus. It's been a real long time since he's come in and had, like, you know, a vocal conversation with me. I will feel his energy. I will see him come into my field of existence. You know, sometimes when I'm working with Mary or Mary Magdalene, or I'm doing like some sort of group session, or Melchizedek comes in, I will feel his energy as well. But today he came in with things to speak to me with, and now I cannot remember them. They went in somewhere, I heard them, we had a conversation, and I cannot remember that now because it's not safe for me to remember, but the information's gone in energetically. But yeah, just to those that, you know, might be worried about me at this time, I'm very much in the light. You know, Jesus stepped forward and spoke to me today, and yeah, he did hold me in his arms, and I've been doing a lot of praying with regards to Christ consciousness. And you know, I am good with God is what I want to share. And you know, I haven't necessarily experienced God in terms of a man, but I've experienced Christ consciousness. I've experienced, you know, this idea of source light, and that is where I find myself on this journey. You know, if I get to meet God as a man, as some of you know him to be, you know, I will fully turn to that and say, you know, I'm here and I will listen, but I'm yet to find that part in my journey, everyone. I think that that's important to bring forward at this time with regards to where we find ourselves, everyone. But for now, that is all I have, and I'll be back tomorrow. But please do take care, everyone. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. If you're feeling a little bit strange from watching these channelings, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will be able to help you with anything that you have going on with regards to maybe any trickster beings at this time, everyone. But that's all I have from today, with me and Alistair. But I'll be back again tomorrow. Take care.